On a construction site, a heavy truck's brakes failed, and it seemed it would crash into the chairman who was inspecting the site. In this critical moment, a hard-working migrant worker dropped the heavy stone slabs from his shoulders, and with a quick move, rushed forward to stop the speeding truck. He became the chairman's lifesaver. To repay this enormous favor, the chairman immediately promised to marry off his granddaughter, who looked like a goddess, to the honest and simple migrant worker. In no time, they went to the civil affairs office and got their marriage certificate. However, the man knew deep down that it was because he saved the granddaughter's grandfather that he had solved his lifelong problem. So, feeling grateful, he drove his truck to give his wife a ride. But as soon as he got out of the truck, he saw a limited edition Porsche parked beside him. What he couldn't have imagined was that the owner of the Porsche was his wife, whom he had just married. It turned out, his wife was originally the powerful CEO of the group, but to avoid hurting his pride, she had temporarily hidden her identity. It wasn't until this day that she came to meet a rich second-generation heir for business. But the real purpose of the meeting wasn't business. The heir had been pursuing her for years, and he had secretly drugged her drink, hoping to take advantage of her. Luckily, as the CEO was fainting, she managed to make a phone call to the man. After hanging up the phone, the man rushed over immediately. When he arrived, the poisoned CEO wanted him to take her to a hotel to rest. However, this man, who had been single for over 30 years, couldn't understand her intentions at all. He immediately took her to the hospital. When the CEO woke up in the hospital, she was furious, wanting to slap the man. At that moment, the chairman came to visit. When he learned that the son-in-law had saved both him and his granddaughter, he immediately saw the man as trustworthy. Even though the couple had just gotten their marriage certificate and hadn't consummated their marriage yet, the chairman asked his granddaughter to move in with the man, so she followed him to his place. Although the man's living conditions were simple, and there was no elevator, he was strong, so the CEO wasn't worried about the future. After all, the man looked healthy and full of energy. But when they entered the house, the man said he would sleep in the guest room, letting the CEO sleep in the master bedroom. Although she felt a little disappointed, she didn't dare to say anything. The next morning, the man took all his savings, thinking that although they hadn't held a banquet, he could at least buy a gold ring. So he walked into a high-end jewelry store, but because he was wearing a $9.99 shirt, the sales staff looked down on him, saying that a worker like him could never afford anything at their store, since the cheapest rings were over $100,000. They even accused him of wanting to steal something. The CEO couldn't tolerate it any longer. She immediately called for the store manager. When the manager looked up, he nearly had a heart attack. Just as he was about to call for the CEO scolded him, saying she was very dissatisfied with the service. The manager immediately understood, slapped the sales staff, and fired her on the spot. With the CEO's subtle gesture, the man was able to buy a ring worth $100,000 for just $100. From that moment on, the man's life began to turn around. The next day, the CEO fully acquired the man's supplier company, raising salaries for everyone. The man thought that once they made some money, he would buy his wife a car. But just as he was thinking about this, he overheard someone referring to his wife as the CEO.